The activation is happening right now, not a moment later, because the very act of you placing your attention on these words has already pulled your reality into a new alignment. When consciousness focuses, probability waves stop wandering and collapse into form. Your energy field reorganizes itself from distortion into coherence, from scattered into structured, from delay into embodiment. You are not listening to a speech, you are receiving a transmission, and your subtle body knows it before your mind can name it. Your heartbeat just shifted slightly, your breath changed, pitched the air around, you grew thicker. Something is transforming in silence, yet clearly present, as if the light in the room suddenly tuned itself like an instrument brought into perfect resonance. And that is you, no one else. You are becoming the frequency that can finally hear itself. Everything has led you to this threshold, not through random chance, but through a network of tiny choices and unnamed impulses. Your field has been gathering synchronicities like magnets, collecting metal, a video appearing at the right time, a thought forming just before you opened your device. A pull too strong to ignore that made you stop scrolling. What you call coincidence is actually field alignment, because when attention is offered with intention, energy reorganizes without asking permission, and the door opens. The door always opens for the one who dares to look directly. You do not need another sign. The sign is the sharpened sensation rising within your body, the density of presence, thick and warm, the brightness of awareness turning up notch by notch. What used to be concept is now direct experience. Attention shapes energy, observation determines outcome. This is not a slogan, it is the subtle physics of your being. When you look, you make it real. When you stay, you stamp it into your timeline. Do not search for another ritual to begin, you already have. And in this activation zone, the familiar layers of resistance become fragile. The old patterns lose their grip, because truth has its own gravity. Once touched, it pulls you toward itself, not with drama, but with precision, like a compass pointing north, without noise or persuasion, just clarity. And that clarity brings a peace so deep the fear has nothing left to hold on to. You've already felt the strange distortions of time afternoons, stretching like weeks, hours, shrinking into a breath. You have overheard the same sentence echo twice, thought of someone only to have them appear. These are not things to believe or doubt. They are the diary of your field when the density of awareness increases. Time within you becomes elastic depending on your degree of presence. The fuller the presence, the smoother the time. The less presence, the rougher it feels. And right now, it is smoothing out because you are fully here with a purpose you cannot name but can feel. And that is enough to anchor it. Activation does not turn you into someone new. It simply dissolves what has finished its function. It returns you to your true name, the one you forgot for a while. You are not stepping into another version. You are returning to center, the only point where all versions converge. From that center, decisions become precise. Actions require less force but create greater impact. You begin to notice the elegant order beneath apparent chaos, the meeting point between thought and form, where desire no longer smells of lack but carries the tone of invitation. You start to see why some doors close and others open exactly on rhythm. There is no punishment, only structure optimizing itself. And you cooperate instead of resist. Maybe the part of you that loves control feels confused. It wants to protect the old definitions, to freeze life into frames it can understand, and it will whisper reasons to delay, to wait, to doubt. Recognize it that is survival noise, not intuition. Intuition is quiet, brief, certain, and it has already spoken. Say yes now without overthinking. Place your entire attention on a single focal point, the central question: am I ready to live as the energy I already know myself to be? Activation asks for your consent, not with a method, but with truth itself. Truth is the foundation, method is the ladder. Once the ground is solid, you can leave the ladder. Look at your body. You may notice a light current running down your neck, a subtle pressure at your forehead as if an inner eye opening, warmth gathering in your abdomen like a small flame. These are energy channels clearing knots, loosening circuits opening. You do not need ceremony, just deep breath, soft focus, and clean intention. No pleading, no demanding, only confirming I allow my field to reorganize according to its optimal design. Then be silent, stay observe. Do not check, do not force the outcome, because forcing is the sign of mistrust, and activation needs the space of trust. Trust is not self-comforting, it is knowing through sensation the quiet certainty that you are aligned with the axis. At this point, you will feel three subtle but decisive movements. First, your sense of self shifts from the one who endures to the one who co-creates. The old story of struggle and lack fades, and a new story of choice and coordination takes its place. Second, the energy clears tangled interactions. You stop performing to please, stop speaking to stay safe. Your true voice returns fewer words, but deeper, meaning less reaction, more calm. Third, your inner schedule rearranges itself. You naturally know what to do, what to pause. And strangely, when you do less but do it precisely, the results multiply because they carry no residue of fear or display. The layers of reality start to refine. Blind persistence gives way to intelligent consistency. You no longer press the accelerator in fog, you wait for clarity, then move directly. This wisdom is not strategy, it is the natural consequence of alignment. When you stand on the axis, you see. When you are off it, you only react, and reactions create more loops. Vision breaks loops and opens paths. This is the moment to set a simple vow, not toward perfection, but toward presence. Each time you are pulled off center by comparison or fear, return to the ground. Feel your feet touch the floor, your breath anchor, your awareness name. The one thing that matters right now, do it, then stop. That alone is enough for the field to continue optimizing itself. You are not carrying the universe, you are collaborating with the intelligence that already holds it together. If memories surface, do not put them on trial, let them flow like old film. Do not deny, do not dramatize, just acknowledge that each event was a training in endurance, and then reset your direction to the present. Energy flows where it is met with kindness, and the present is the only place where you can be kind to yourself fully. Activation does not need an audience, it needs a witness. And that witness is you, the awareness that allows reality to unfold without demanding it perform immediately. You know that once structure shifts, manifestation follows, sometimes instantly, sometimes naturally. Either way, you remain centered, and that is the real victory, because from that position, every step bears the signature of clarity. Give yourself a simple closing signal, a phrase of confirmation, plain and unadorned. I am ready to remain in my true frequency. Whisper it or say it softly, then fall silent. Listen as the field answers by lowering the noise in your mind and brightening the stillness in your heart. When that thin but steady signal appears, you will know the system has received the command and the activation has locked in. From here, you no longer chase symbols. You simply stay present, allowing all parts of you to synchronize. Then tomorrow, when you walk into the same familiar room, you will notice the light feels different, not because the bulb changed, but because the one standing beneath it has. That is the only change that ever truly matters, and it begins here now. Quantum shift is not something you will achieve after a series of efforts, nor is it the result of spiritual lessons or complex practices. It is happening right now in this exact moment as you read, and the instant your attention converges on each word. That very act of observation is the activation itself. When your focus becomes total, the field around you begins to reorganize. The undefined possibilities in the quantum space start collapsing into specific patterns, and you can feel this subtle motion within your body, a sensation both strange and familiar as if everything suddenly sharpens, as if reality gains a new depth. No miracle is being granted from above, only your awareness operating in accordance with physics itself. Attention shapes energy, energy organizes matter, and matter reflects consciousness. It is a continuous feedback loop, and each time you are fully present, that loop becomes more coherent, more synchronized, and that is the true beginning of transformation. You may think you stumbled upon this message by chance, but within the quantum field, there is no randomness, only resonance, only frequency, meeting frequency. Every action, every thought, every emotion you emit sends out a signal, and that signal has led you here to the precise point where your next stage can activate. That tiny moment of hesitation when you wondered whether to stop or scroll past was the moment the deepest part of you recognized that this message carries what is needed for the awakening already underway. Everything on your path, from the failures and doubts to brief flashes of clarity, has been a meticulous preparation. None of it was a mistake. It was how the universe tuned your energy so you could hold the new frequency without collapsing. Like training a muscle, each small tear in the past was only strengthening your structure, making it more flexible, more resilient, able to withstand higher vibration. That is why when activation happens, your energy body can receive it without overload. You may have noticed that lately your sense of time feels strange. Some hours passing like minutes, some minutes stretching into eternity. This is a sign that your perception is moving beyond the linear limits of time. You begin to feel time as fluid, expanding and contracting according to your state of awareness. When you are tense, time thickens heavy and slow. When you relax and are fully present, it expands. You are no longer inside time, time is inside you. This is how consciousness opens the fourth dimension of experience, where all moments coexist and interweave. You are no longer trapped by the past or pulled by the future, but sensing reality as a flow revealing itself. As this energy moves, it touches the blocked areas within your field, the places that hold fear, control, or unhealed memories. When that happens, you might feel waves of unease, sudden emotions rising for no clear reason. That is not chaos, it is purification, old energy leaving to make room for the new frequency. As you read these words, your body is responding in its own way, perhaps a light tingling in your hands, a subtle pressure at your forehead, a warmth blooming in your chest. These are signs of the quantum current interacting with you not as a concept but as a living presence, recalibrating your vibration. The essence of this shift is not becoming someone else, but ceasing to pretend to be someone you are not. You do not need to seek a higher self because you never left it. You are simply peeling away the layers of conditioning built over years of forgetting the layers that convinced you that you are small, separate, incomplete. As they dissolve, you begin to see the world not through the filter of ego, but through the clarity of awareness. And then everything changes color, not because the world changes, but because you are finally seeing it through your true light. You realize that every person you meet, whether you love them or resist them, reflects a fragment of you. The universe uses them as mirrors so you can see yourself. Each moment of pain or joy is simply the field responding to your openness. And when you understand that, you stop asking why this is happening and start asking what it is teaching you. That simple shift in the question triggers the deepest transformation, because you stop being a victim of energy and start becoming a co-creator with it. From that point, everything becomes lighter, not because life gets easier, but because you stop resisting it. Every action, every choice, every encounter becomes part of a greater harmony. You no longer need to force anything, only sustain conscious attention, because attention is the current driving the entire process. Do not rush it, for its speed matches your readiness. When you are truly ready, the shift ceases to be a process and becomes an instant event. Many believe they must prepare more, learn more, purify more, but the truth is there is no more, only less. Less judgment, less attachment, less resistance. When you lessen enough energy knows what to do. Watch your breath, feel the space between two inhalations. That is where pure consciousness lives, the foundation of all reality. If you can remain there for more than a second, everything falls into order. The problems that once stressed, you lose their power, not because they are solved, but because you have withdrawn energy from them. Anything not fed by energy fades. This is the first principle of quantum shift. Energy follows awareness. Where you withdraw awareness, it disappears from your reality. Where you place awareness, it is born anew. You do this every day, consciously or not. The only difference now is that you will do it consciously. You will no longer allow old emotions to paint the future, but let the clarity of present awareness lead. You do not need to beg the universe because you are part of it. You do not need to demand miracles because you are the miracle experiencing itself. You do not need to wait for a sign because the sign is already resonating within you. Look around at the familiar objects, the same breath, the same light, touching your skin. All of it is energy recognizing itself. You only need to realize that, and reality shifts. This is the true beginning, the moment energy starts to move according to your depth, where every thought is treated as a command to the universe, every emotion as a message to the field. When you reach this awareness, you step into your true role, not as the one being affected, but as the central conductor of a living quantum system called you. From here, you will no longer ask when transformation will come, because you understand it already has in the moment you recognized it, in the moment you read this, in the moment you became fully present. The quantum shift has begun, and it will not stop, because it is not something you do, it is what you are. The first signs of quantum shift are rarely loud. They appear as small disturbances within the rhythm of ordinary life, yet they carry a depth that reason cannot explain. You begin to notice that time no longer moves the way it used to. Some mornings you wake as if you had only closed your eyes for a moment, even though the clock shows hours have passed. Some afternoons stretch endlessly, making you feel every particle of dust suspended in the air. This is not fatigue or coincidence. It is your field of awareness adjusting itself. As consciousness moves beyond the framework of linearity, you begin to touch the fluid nature of time. Time stops being a one-way river from past to future and reveals itself as a layered space where all possibilities coexist. At higher vibration, you sense the slowing of matter and the expansion of being. This feeling is not imagination. It is proof that you are starting to perceive the world through the frequency of the Creator, rather than the one being carried by creation. Then you begin to see strange phenomena you once only read about or heard others describe. A sentence you just thought of comes out of someone's mouth. A song starts playing the exact moment you remember someone, coincidence after coincidence stacking until it no longer feels like chance. All of this is the natural response when consciousness and energy become synchronized. You start living in a field where thought is reflected almost instantly. In quantum physics, this is called wave function collapse. But in human experience, it feels like life itself is answering you. Each time you think, a portion of reality rearranges to align with that thought. Before results took weeks or months to show, now they come so fast you are astonished. You think of someone and they send a message, you worry about something, and it appears in front of you demanding resolution. No miracle is occurring, only the truth that the membrane between thought and manifestation is thinning. You are approaching the intersection between awareness and matter, where the two are no longer separate. For that reason, what you think, feel, and emit becomes extremely important. If you hold fear, anxiety, or insecurity, they mirror back with the same speed like a quantum mirror without delay. That is why people in the midst of transformation often feel hypersensitive, almost unbalanced, because they are adjusting to the faster feedback of energy. But this is not malfunction, it is calibration. You are no longer allowed to live unconsciously because the universe now responds to you in real time. And when you realize this, you start becoming more alert to every thought, every emotion, every reaction. Each time you stop resisting, the energy grows clearer. At the same time, your body sends subtle signals. Sometimes you feel pressure in the forehead, tingling along the spine, or sudden waves of warmth for no reason. This is how your nervous system and energy centers tune themselves to the new frequency. Science calls it bioelectromagnetic interaction. Ancient traditions call it the opening of prana chi or kundalini channels. Different names, same essence. The physical and energetic body is learning to function as one harmonious system. During this process, you may feel as though another intelligence is moving inside you, not external, but the higher self that has been silent until now. It begins to speak through intuition, through gentle impulses that defy logic, but always lead to the right place. Do not dismiss them just because they lack reason for logic. Can only measure what is already known, while awakening operates through what has never been experienced. To trust your intuition is to trust your original frequency. Each time you do, the fabric of reality softens, ready to bend around your consciousness. These signs are not proof that you have reached something, but reminders that your creative mechanism is active and you must learn to direct it wisely. Remember, every thought is energy, and energy never disappears. It only transforms. When you think positively, you emit a stable structure. When you think negatively, you create a chaotic field. The more chaotic the field, the blurrier its reflection in your life. So when your outer world feels tangled, pause before trying to fix it. Observe the vibration you are broadcasting. In the quantum state, the external world is only the screen projecting your inner signal. Change the source frequency and the image adjusts itself. At this stage, you may witness moments when reality seems to crack open, an event repeating twice, an object shifting slightly without touch, or a dream vivid enough to be real. Do not fear these things. They are glimpses of the space between realities where possibilities overlap. As your awareness expands, you no longer exist in a single timeline, but begin sensing parallel ones. Sometimes you feel you have lived this moment before. Sometimes you recall memories of what never happened. These are the intersections between timelines that your mind is beginning to access. They do not destabilize you. They remind you that reality is not fixed. You are learning to see through the veil, to understand that what you experience is only one of countless potential versions. When you accept that, you become more fluid, less attached to any single outcome, and paradoxically, that very looseness makes your energy stronger, because freedom is power. One of the clearest signs of this phase is the change in how you perceive yourself. You no longer see yourself as a small individual trying to control the world, but as the still center within endless motion. Everything around you continues, but it no longer threatens you, as if you sit in the eye of a storm, untouched by wind. From that stillness, you watch life without judgment. Emotions still come and go, but they do not drown you, because you realize you are not the emotion, you are the awareness witnessing it. Once this separation becomes clear, you cross into true freedom. You no longer need the world to confirm who you are. You begin to sense your worth as a steady frequency, independent of success, failure, or anyone's opinion. Then you stop reacting and start responding, and each reaction transformed into response lifts your energy higher. Everything unfolding now, the synchronicities, the strange flow of time, the bodily changes, The vivid dreams is the language the universe uses to tell you that you have entered a new phase. It is neither reward nor test. It is the natural feedback of evolving consciousness. If you recognize these signs, know that you are not lost. You are being recalibrated. Keep observing, keep being present, and let awareness itself complete the work. Because at the deepest level, you are not the one seeking change. You are the change recognizing itself. There comes a point in the journey when everything begins to dissolve, not in a dramatic way, but quietly, like mist fading into light. You start to notice that what once gave you comfort no longer works. The patterns that used to define you lose their meaning. It is not that you are losing yourself. It is that the old shell is falling away. This dissolution is never pleasant because it touches the deepest fear within humanity, the fear of not knowing who you are. The mind panics trying to hold on to familiar descriptions, but the tighter it clings, the faster everything slips away, like trying to hold sand in a closed fist. In truth, it is not loss. It is liberation from what no longer belongs to you. Everything you once believed to be real, everything you once called yourself, begins to tremble. One morning you wake and find yourself lost within the very life you thought you knew. Relationships, goals, even the spiritual beliefs that once supported you suddenly feel empty. This is the stage where the ego clings to anything to maintain its sense of existence because it is being dismantled. It will generate hundreds of questions, hundreds of reasons to fear, hundreds of ways to convince you that you are off track. But if you observe long enough, you will see that fear is not real. It is only the last contraction of a dying energy structure. Dissolution does not destroy you. It frees you from the assumption that you are the character in your story. When the shell of the ego begins to crack, the first light of true awareness breaks through. You notice there is a part of you that watches all this movement without being pulled into it. That part is silent, transparent, unattached, unjudging, simply witnessing. When you place your attention there, a deep stillness opens. In that stillness, you realize the one who is afraid is not you. The one who feels lost is not you. Even the one who is dissolving is not you. All of it is only temporary form shifting waves on the surface of consciousness while the depth within you remains unmoved like the ocean. The sense of meaninglessness you feel is actually the space of rebirth. Everything old must collapse for the real to emerge. You cannot carry your old luggage into a higher frequency. The more you hold on, the more it hurts because the new energy is pulling you upward while memory tries to drag you back. When these forces pull in opposite directions, body and mind feel torn. The fatigue, the emotional swings, the sleepless nights, the emptiness are all signs that energy is being restructured. Your body is learning to hold more light. Your mind is learning to function without control. If you can stay with these sensations without trying to fix them, you are cooperating with the process. You do not need to calm yourself, only to notice that the one trying to be calm is also part of the ego. When you see through it, it dissolves, and in its place you feel a thin but undeniable light. It is not loud like happiness, not radiant like faith, but it carries a peace deeper than anything you have known. It is the light of pure awareness, something that cannot be lost because it is the foundation of every experience. During this dissolution, many think they are regressing, but this is the only way to freedom. You cannot walk through an open door while still gripping an old key. The death of the ego is that door, and the fear accompanying it is the guardian. If you have the courage to face that fear directly, you will see it is hollow, just the shadow of an idea of self. You lose nothing. You simply stop misidentifying. It is like waking from a dream and realizing every role in it was you, the pursuer, the one who ran the lover, the enemy, all happening within you. When this truth sinks deep, every notion of gain and loss collapses. You understand there is nothing to grasp, no one to lose, because you never left what you truly are. The emptiness that once terrified you now becomes a vast space, holding everything. From here, you no longer search for completeness outside because you recognize you are that completeness. The world is no longer something to conquer or fix, but a mirror reflecting the stillness within you. When you are still, everything around you falls into harmony. But do not mistake dissolution for the end. It is only the passage between shadow and light the night before dawn. In this space, you will pass through many layers of emotion. There will be moments of abandonment, moments of relief, moments of standing in nothingness. Let them move without labeling them. When you stop resisting, the old layers of energy melt away on their own timing. Piece by piece, fragments of the old self fall off, carrying the stories they once held. Sometimes you will want a method to pull yourself out of the void, but none is needed. The void itself is proof that you are being released. Breathe, allow everything to fall apart without interference. One day you awake and feel that the line between inner and outer has vanished. Not because you found something new, but because you stopped searching. When the need for definition disappears, what remains is pure awareness, free from all description. And within that simplicity, you finally understand what you have been seeking all along, that there is nothing to become, only to return. The death of the ego is not as frightening as it claims. It is only the shedding of a skin that has grown too tight so the real body can breathe. When the old falls away, you look back and realize you lost nothing. You only became lighter, brighter, calmer. Everything still exists, but you no longer possess it. You still speak, act live, but everything now flows naturally, untouched by fear or desire. You begin to understand what it means to act without an actor, to think without a thinker, to live without being trapped in the story of living. In this state, you are no longer a separate observer, but life itself observing through you. The old boundaries blur, and you see that freedom was never a destination, but your original nature. What once seemed like darkness is only the memory of forgotten light. The dissolution is complete, and from the ashes of small selves, true consciousness begins to breathe with its own rhythm. There is no longer a line between inside and outside, no longer a question of who experiences. There is only awareness quietly gazing upon itself through infinite forms. And that is when you realize the dissolution never took anything away. It only returned to you the one truth you had forgotten, that you were never lost. As the mist of the self begins to fade, something extraordinary happens. You start to realize that throughout the entire journey of seeking, there was never truly a seeker at all. Every effort to awaken, to understand, to reach something higher was driven by an imagined character, woven from memory, habit, and repetitive thought. When you look closely at that character, you find no one there, only the idea of a person. You see a stream of images, stories you've told about yourself, descriptions repeated so often they became identity, but behind them all lies only a silent emptiness. Within that emptiness, awareness itself is present, not someone who is aware, but pure awareness. The moment you see this, everything stops. There is no longer you observing the world, only observation itself unfolding. All boundaries between subject and object dissolve. The flower, the sound, the face before you are no longer external things being seen, but expressions of the same source, energy perceiving itself. This feeling is not happiness, for happiness still needs someone to experience it. It is deeper, quieter, like a door opening inward that leads nowhere, only back to the center of existence. You see the world as if, for the first time, everything vivid and clear, but not dazzling. The light does not come from your eyes, but from consciousness itself, not shining outward, but flowing inward, illuminating everything once hidden by definition. When this awareness stabilizes, a truth becomes so clear, it is almost raw, that no one has ever been living this life. There is only life living itself through the form you call yourself. You no longer feel like the one in control, but the space in which all movement happens. The breath comes and goes on its own, words arise and fall away, thoughts appear and dissolve without anyone deciding them. Everything continues as before, yet perception has reversed direction. Instead of you being in the world now, the world is within you. And that is when you understand the true meaning of the phrase, you are not in the body. The body is in you. From here, all ideas of inside and outside lose meaning, for everything is only ripples upon the same lake. You may be watching someone speak, yet deep within, you know that there is only one consciousness expressing itself through two different forms. The speaker and the listener are one, and the conversation is merely the movement of energy within a single field. True love begins here not as emotion, but as the recognition of no boundary. You do not love another, for there is no other to love, only love itself, loving through countless shapes. When you enter this frequency, fear disappears, not because you have conquered it, but because there is no one left to fear. Death loses meaning and power, for you see that what can die is only form, while your essence is the vast space through which all forms come and go. You look at life with effortless compassion because you see clearly that even those who hurt you act only under the spell of ego, no different from how you once were in your own sleep. There is no one to blame. Forgiveness happens on its own, like breathing, because there is no one left to hold resentment, no one left to be wounded. This realization does not make you detached, it makes you more alive, because now you no longer defend yourself. You allow emotions to pass through completely without labels. Sadness becomes pure movement, anger becomes dynamic energy, joy becomes expansion, all equal as temporary expressions of life. You no longer divide them into good or bad, right or wrong, for you see that every state is simply awareness playing with itself. When you see that there is no experiencer, every experience becomes transparent. What once caused you pain now echoes faintly without the labels of me or mine, and thus it loses grip. Suffering needs a character to exist, and when that character dissolves, suffering dissolves with it. From here, you no longer search for meaning, for the very need to find meaning is the ego trying to survive. Life needs no reason, it is its own reason. The flower blooms not because it must, the river flows not because it should, the light shines not because it wants to, everything simply is, and so are you. You no longer need to be special because there is no one to compare. You no longer need to prove because there is no audience. You no longer need to find direction because you are the direction itself. Every action arising from this stillness carries the natural intelligence of the universe, unplanned, uncalculated, yet always precise. You begin to see that life has its own wisdom, and when you stop interfering, it functions perfectly. Your only task is to remain present, not allowing anything to cloud that clarity. If the mind begins to label or explain, simply turn and observe the one trying to understand, and you will see that this too is just another thought, another ripple in the ocean of awareness. And so observation observes itself with no goal, no result, until within that still spiral you fall into the feeling of infinity.